Grand Island. This is 1011 News at 10.
There is new information tonight about the fire that destroyed a Capital City church. Good evening, everyone. I'm John Vanderford. Cerise has the evening off. Authorities have narrowed down where they think the fire started, while there's new concern about the stability of the gutted structure. 1011's Jason Valentine has the latest in tonight's top story.
Investigators say the fire started in the kitchen and made its way through the church.
Fire progressed across the floor joist, found an elevator shaft to go vertical, and that's how it progressed to involve the entire structure in the sanctuary.
It left an entire congregation looking for a permanent church home while they rebuild.
For a season, we may just have to be nomads and go here and there, and we don't want to be a burden to any one church.
While Zion looks for a home, investigators look to keep the remnants of the structure safe. They're worried high winds could topple the north and south walls onto D Street.
The building is structurally unstable. Therefore, we're going to put up a 6-foot chain link fence, and we're going to ask the people in the area to abide by the chain link fence and not cross the barrier.
Investigators say the estimated damage costs are also rising, up to $3 million after the initial estimate of just $2 million. Both prices that Kearns says the church will need help covering.
We did not have replacement cost on that insurance because it was just too high. And yeah, you just start looking at all the stained glass and wood and the way they did things back then.
He says the fire did teach him and his congregation two important lessons. First,
I bet the new building will have a sprinkler system.
And second,
it isn't about bricks and mortar. It's about people. Jesus loves people.
Investigators are still working to determine the cause of the fire. They also say D Street in front of the church will remain closed while the building waits for demolition. Pastor Kearns says the church services will continue every Sunday. Right now, he's working to set a regular schedule of times and locations. He says the only thing they will cancel is Sunday school and adult Bible classes, which took place Sundays before church.
Okay, that's 1011's Jason Valentine reporting. Our coverage of the church fire continues as the congregation tries to move forward. While many are looking to the future, 1011's Melanie Bloom talks with one parishioner who has plenty of history staked in the church's past.
Cut them out with his knife and they hung them on.
Old pictures and papers hold more meaning now that the church Linda Seidel grew up with was ravaged by flames.
It was just sadness, like a loss of a person. I didn't think it would hit me that hard. It is hard, you know, to know that I'll never sit there again and be able to look at the windows and things, but it cost very nearly $100,000. Thinking about my dad ushering when he was there, and my mom leading the choir, and Sunday school superintendent, and all those things that were such a major part of our family, of being in that church and community, and you know, that is a great loss.
Linda was married at Zion 44 years ago. Her mother was the choir director. Her grandfather and great-grandfather were pastors there.
Like my grandfather and those that came over and settled there, they worked hard.
Also preserved photos of confirmation classes and church records. Luckily, they were stored at the church's office far away from the flames. One thing that was in the fire but survived, the communion cup.
I believe that all things are work together for good, and I believe that there's a purpose for all of this, and I'm just looking forward to what God has planned for the next 80 years.
The church also has a history of being part of the food net that will continue. Next Sunday, the volunteers plan to be at Cooper Park. That's just a block away from the church. From there, they'll distribute food to the homeless and others in need. Also, a fund at Cornhusker State Bank has been set up to help Zion rebuild. For information on how you can help, go to KOLNKGIN.com and click on the Remembering the Past story.